And we're getting big breaking news right now. North Korea has reportedly fired a ballistic missile towards a sea of Japan. Now, this has also been confirmed by PM's Office of Japan. PM's Office of Japan has tweeted that North Korea has launched a suspected ballistic missile. More updates to follow, and reports coming in that it is towards the Sea of Japan. In fact, latest reports also indicate on the missile that has been fired. South Korea too, in fact, also confirming, South Korea's military saying that North Korea has fired at least one ballistic missile into the sea. The Joint Chiefs of Staff on Saturday didn't immediately say what type of missile was launched or how far it flew. Initial reports coming in of North Korea launching the missile. Now, this launch comes a day after North Korea's foreign ministry threatened to take unprecedentedly strong action against its rivals after South Korea announced a series of planned military exercises with the United States aimed at sharpening their response to the North growing threats. Now, in fact, last week too, there were reports, and in fact, we had visuals of North Korea parading largest long-range missile array. It was Kim Jong-un who was leading the parade, who was in fact inspecting the parade as well. And it had shown its largest display ever of intercontinental ballistic missiles. A number of analysts had said that this could potentially challenge the US's defense system. Now, there were about a dozen long-range ICBMs that were shown off in this parade last Wednesday. Leader Kim Jong-un had in fact presided over that parade. He was seen at that midnight parade with his young daughter by his side. Now, Japan and South Korea, two countries confirming that North Korea has fired a ballistic missile probably towards the Sea of Japan. Just telling our viewers about the details that we're getting in is that the Joint Chiefs of Staff on Saturday, the South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff, they didn't immediately say what type of missile was launched or how far it flew. They've just confirmed that at least one ballistic missile has been fired into the sea. Now, this launch comes just a day after North Korea's foreign ministry threatened to take unprecedentedly strong action against its rivals after South Korea announced a series of planned military exercises with the United States aimed at sharpening their response to the North's growing threats. And in fact, these are the pictures that we're getting you. These are the pictures from last week of the parade, which we were just talking about. The parade, the largest long-range missile array that was being showcased by North Korea last week in a midnight parade. Now, there were about a dozen long-range ICBMs that were showcased in this military parade last week in North Korea. Niranjan is joining us live from the Mumbai newsroom. Niranjan, two countries confirming about this ballistic missile that has been launched by North Korea. What are the reports and what is the information that you're gathering from agencies?
Well, the fact that the Japanese Prime Minister's office, Sanika, has confirmed the launch, and I think that's a big one. They've also issued a Japanese Prime Minister's office has also issued an emergency alert. So that's the other big breaking news update now coming in. The North Korean state has been in the last few years aggressively testing ballistic missiles. So we don't know as of this minute whether it's a test firing or whether it's an actual missile that is launched. Japan declares emergency alert after the ballistic missile was launched. North Korea has launched a ballistic missile. The Japanese Prime Minister's office has issued a set of instructions. So I'm just going to put out that as well.
Yes.
The Japanese government has issued emergency instructions. I repeat, the Japanese government has issued emergency instructions from, on what people need to do. And this is an emergency. Looks like they've given out 3 points. 3 points given out from Japanese Prime Minister's office. And these points include Point number one, dedicate maximum effort to gather and analyze information, provide the public speedy and adequate information, ensure safety of aircraft, vessels and other assets. So Japan has gone into complete emergency mode right now. So the Japanese Prime Minister's office will just put out the tweet as well of the Japanese government right now. The Japanese Prime Minister's office giving out instructions as we speak. These are live instructions that are being tweeted as we speak a few minutes back. The Japanese Prime Minister's office saying that he wants to ensure that maximum effort is made to gather and analyze information available, provide public speedy and adequate information, ensure safety of Japanese aircraft, Japanese vessels, other assets, and also to take all possible measures for precaution, including readiness for contingencies. So Japan prepares for contingencies as we speak. And the Japanese Prime Minister issues emergency instructions, and Japan ensuring safety of aircraft and other assets and taking all possible measures. Japan takes all possible measures for contingencies. And these are some of the breaking news updates that we have right now. So we're tracking every little update that we have. And this launch, we don't have more details of it. What I can tell you is that South Korea's military has claimed, it was claimed by the South Korean military that the North Korean government had fired at least one ballistic missile into the sea. The Joint Chiefs of Staff in South Korea didn't immediately say what type of missile was launched or how far it flew. The launch came a day after the North Korean Foreign Ministry threatened to take unprecedentedly strong action against its rivals after South Korea announced a series of planned military exercises with the US aimed at sharpening their response to the North's growing threat. So this is something that has come as a response to the South Korean state confirming that they will be holding joint exercises with the United States. So it seems like a retaliatory measure as of now. What we can also tell you is that North Korea had warned the South Koreans that they would be taking unprecedented strong action against South Korea after the military exercises with the United States was announced. Now, South Korea's announcement was made keeping in mind their response. They wanted to test their response and they wanted to gauge their capabilities vis-a-vis the response to the North's growing threat. So the exercise is aimed at South Korea, just strengthening its response mechanism, and it appears that North Korea has fired a missile in response to that threat. So this is what we have as of now, and let's see if we can get more details. We're tracking the story very closely. Sarika.
Yes, and in fact, Niranjan, what we are also gathering is that just a few days back, South Korea, US, Japan, they had a meeting and the focus was on North Korea's nuclear threat at this trilateral meeting. Now, these three countries, what we're getting to know, reaffirmed their trilateral coordination to cope with North Korea's nuclear and missile threats. This was as old as like just 4 to 5 days back. There was a meeting just a week back. There was this entire parade that was conducted, that was presided by Kim Jong-un, where these pictures are on our screen right now, Niranjan, of how he was showcasing the missile to the world. So everything is sort of like building up to what happened today, and with Japan and South Korea confirming that there has been a missile that has been launched. Is there more that you can share with our viewers about this meeting also that took place just a few days back, and in what is this retaliation that North Korea is claiming it to be?
Well, what we can tell you is that the North, especially the North Korean state under Kim Jong-un, has been testing a few ballistic missiles. You remember that monster missile that they tested a few months back, touted to be one of the world's most powerful missiles with a range that could hit America. Now, we don't know whether this firing that has happened by Japan, by the North Koreans, has happened as a response to South Korea announcing the military exercise. But they have been claiming, the South has been claiming that deliberately North Korea has been sort of provoking using nuclear ballistic missiles as a threat and also on display. I think we have some reactions on the phone line, some experts joining us. So let's go across to them. Ahmed Ayaz is joined us on the phone line. Mr. Ayaz, how do you see this test firing by the North? We are hearing that there's been a ballistic missile launch. We don't know the nature of this missile yet.
No, you see, there had been hostilities too. It could be possibly they must have seen some opportunity. Possibly the North Korea must have seen some opportunity to see that they make their points strong and make their presence towards the Japan, and that could be possibly a reason to give them an that sort of communicate to them that we are strong to retaliate or to that could it be possibly a thing. Otherwise, there was no reason for
some breaking news. 1 minute. 1 minute, Mr. Ayaz, just stay with me. Some breaking news coming in right now. Some breaking news of an update. In fact, the Japanese Prime Minister's office has just put out a couple of details of this particular threat. They have, one, confirmed the launch of a suspected ballistic missile, and two, they've asked their citizens to take precautions. And let me tell you, as of this minute, the three sets of instructions, even Japan not taking any chances. Japanese Prime Minister's office saying that they want to dedicate maximum effort to gather and analyze information and provide public speedy, adequate information, ensure safety of aircraft, vessels, other assets, military assets especially, and take all possible measures for precaution, including readiness for any contingency. So this is the breaking news update. Let me go across also to Major General S.P. Sinha joining us on the phone line. General S.P. Sinha, North Korea has fired a ballistic missile. We don't have details of it, but initial reports suggesting it may have been a response to the South announcing exercises with the U.S.
It's my perception that North Korea has fired this ballistic missile at the behest of China. And why China is trying to fire a problem from other shoulder. That means North Korea's shoulder, secondly. Thirdly, the way America is becoming aggressive in South China Sea, Indo-Pacific, the way Quad is becoming active, the way America is trying to carry out military exercises with South Korea, the way America is trying to develop its military infrastructure in Philippines. So China is saying that America is trying to surround China from all sides. And that is the worry. Even in the respect of Taiwan, America has given a very clear signal that if you try to mess it up, there will be retaliation, a big retaliation. So China does not know. It is China's policy in the past has been two step forward, one step backward. So maybe China is trying to test the waters and using North Korea. But I personally feel it is just perception warfare, and it is just trying to China is just trying to send a strategic message to America and Quad countries that it is capable of retaliating, it is capable of confronting America and other nations who are with America. And I see this as a perception warfare rather than anything else. Just sending a missile and letting the missile drop in sea, it really does not show any consequence of significance. So I take it that this is just a shadow boxing, and it will continue to happen because China believes in all types of strategy and uses all types of strategy as a weapon from time to time. Psychological warfare, information warfare, perception warfare, strategic messaging. You see in the case of a balloon also, China was trying to convey an aggressive posture of China. Because the way China's economy is getting hit, China's dreams of becoming superpower one is, I think, totally evaporated. But I personally see it is a sinking ship. The industries in China are getting totally sidelined. One of the industries was arrested few weeks back, and he's just vanished. He is not traceable. The condition of Jack Ma, no. So until unless you give fillip and encouragement to your industries, how will the economy improve? The real estate has collapsed. One-child policy has destroyed the military fabric. So I think it is just a show of strength, muscle flexing on the part of China. And I look at this issue in this particular manner.
Yes, thank you, General Sira, for that. Major General A.K. Sivach also joining us on the phone line as we try to gather more details. We don't have more details of the kind of ballistic missile that was fired, General Sivach, but we know that it was fired towards the sea, and this was fired a day after the North warned of a retribution. They warned of unprecedented crackdown against the South for holding or deciding to hold military exercises with America.
No doubt. See, as far as North Korea is concerned, it is belligerent from almost about the last 1 year. And the way the exercise is going between South Korea and U.S., that has recognized North Korea. You see, North Korea is a state which is preparing itself for a war. And it has got collusion with China. It is preparing. It has got a nuclear weapon now. It has an intercontinental ballistic missile. It has a capability and capacity to even hit the mainland of U.S. It can go up till Hawaii and Guam. So therefore, there is a threat which is building up as far as South China Sea is concerned. And North Korea is a threat both for South Korea as well as Japan. So the way the things are going on and way the Kim Jong-un is a maverick leader, you cannot be very sure. And therefore, this threat is increasing, and that is why the U.S. is now taking no chance. There are joint exercises taking place between U.S. and South Korea, and the U.S. is also placing its best aircraft, F-22 Raptor and F-35, both in South Korea and Japan, and also increasing the strength which is there in South Korea. So to sum it all that, yes, the situation is deteriorating. The relationship between South Korea and North Korea is going downhill towards South, and North Korea is becoming very belligerent. And as far as Kim Jong-un is concerned, he's very unpredictable. You cannot know his next step. And there is a collision between North Korea and also China. And remember that North Korea is also helping Russia in Russia-Ukraine war. So overall, one can say that as on today, Kim Jong-un is very aggressive and very unpredictable.
Yes. Handing it over to my colleague Sanika also joining us with more details. Sanika?
Yes. Yes, and in fact, Niranjan just telling our viewers that this launch, this ballistic missile launch is coming in a year which has which was a record for North Korea in terms of weapons demonstration, and with more than 70 ballistic missiles that were fired this year, including intercontinental ballistic missiles with potential range to reach the U.S. mainland. The North Korea, in fact, also conducted a slew of launches it described as simulated nuclear attacks against South Korean and U.S. targets in response to the allies' resumption of large-scale joint military exercise that had been downsized for years. We're keeping a close watch on the developments that are taking place as far as this news break is concerned, about this big global story, big global news break that is taking place. We're heading into a short break right now. More news and updates will follow on the other side.